Welcome to this intensive masterclass. We are diving deep into the examiner's playbook for mastering the purpose and limitations of trial balance in the Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 syllabus. I am your master coach, and I know exactly where you are losing your marks. If you've ever felt like you truly understood your debits and credits, only to get your past paper back with half the marks missing on the high tariff theory questions, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are upgrading your cognitive approach. We are going to deconstruct exactly how the principal examiners think, what they are ruthlessly looking for, and how you can systematically secure those elusive top-tier marks. We are moving beyond the basic textbook definitions. We are treating the exam paper like a strategic puzzle, and I'm going to give you the exact framework to solve it flawlessly.
Look at this quote on our interactive smartboard. This is a bold claim straight from the senior examiners, and it's a massive wake-up call. It's a fascinating insight because the trial balance is so often viewed by candidates as a purely mechanical, mathematical task. You just balance the books, right? Wrong. The heavy-hitting 9 to 15 mark questions test the architectural framework behind the numbers. Let's look at a complex, high-tariff sample question. To what extent is the trial balance an effective tool for identifying accounting errors in a manufacturing business? Notice the command words. The examiners are not asking you to simply explain what a trial balance is. Explain requires you to demonstrate comprehension. To what extent requires you to weigh up evidence, look at the limitations, and provide a justified critical judgment. Principal examiner reports consistently highlight the candidates throw away incredibly accessible marks because they don't know the anatomy of these command words. But after today, you won't be one of them.
Here is our highly structured, time-blocked roadmap for this session. We are moving logically from the core trial balance principles directly into the technical procedural framework. Then, we'll cover securing your method marks, critical analysis and evaluation, and finally, the top 3 examiner warnings you absolutely must avoid.
Let's start with Section 1, Core Trial Balance Principles, specifically focusing on the cognitive domains the examiner is actively testing you on.
To succeed and secure top marks, you must demonstrate absolute competence across all 3 of these assessment objectives, which we call AO1, AO2, and AO3. You must always prioritize analytical depth over superficial breadth. Let's contrast these using the command words I mentioned earlier. Knowledge and understanding is your AO1. If a question asks you to state or identify, you use AO1. But if the command word is analyze, we move to AO2. Analyzing means breaking down how specific errors, like an error of omission, actually affect the trial balance mechanism. Then we reach the top tier, evaluation, or AO3. If the command word is evaluate, you are being asked to judge the overall usefulness of the trial balance in a given specific business scenario. If you just list 10 random facts about a trial balance, you are stuck in AO1, and your marks will be severely capped. Examiners want you to pick 3 strong, contextualized points and analyze them deeply.
Moving to Section 2. Let's look at the technical procedural framework and how this builds into the systematic processing required for exam success.
The crucial point here is mastering this method mark strategy. Examiners actually award you marks for your logical process. To show you how to unlock these top-tier marking bands, I want to bring in a case study from a collaborative digital study suite I recently hosted with 2 of my top scholars, Alex and Sam. They were working on a complex trial balance evaluation question. Now, Alex is highly technical. Alex excels at formulas, memorizing facts, and getting the math right, but completely struggles with open-ended evaluation. Sam, on the other hand, is a creative thinker, incredibly strong at forming arguments, but seriously struggles with structural precision and timing. Watching them debate was fascinating. Alex pushed for a purely factual approach, just wanting to list the types of errors a trial balance doesn't catch. Sam argued for a broader conceptual perspective about the philosophy of accounting, but lacked any hard data. Neither of them was hitting the method mark strategy because they weren't systematizing their process. Getting the final figure or final argument right is great, but the structured journey is where the bulk of your marks live.
So I intervened and gave Alex and Sam this brilliantly standardized 5-step sequence on the interactive board. First, deconstruct the question. I took my digital highlighter and isolated the command word, the content knowledge required, and the hidden constraints of the prompt. Second, extract relevant data. Third, execute with clear notation. Fourth, verify results. And fifth, present with correct terminology. As Alex and Sam debated how to apply this, Alex realized that listing facts was only hitting step 2, completely ignoring the verification and presentation needed for a cohesive argument. Sam realized that without step 3, executing with clear notation, the creative arguments were just unstructured rambling. When they combined forces using this exact standardized sequence, they finally started hitting all 3 assessment objectives. They stopped fighting over whether facts or arguments were better and started weaving them together into a structured, high-scoring essay layout.
Let's move into Section 3 and look at how to practically lock in those method marks through highly effective data interpretation skills. Okay, before we solve the hardest part of data interpretation, I am hitting pause on this session. If you are serious about crushing your Cambridge exams and you want to master these high-level cognitive strategies, you need to hit the subscribe button right now for Ace the Exam's IGCSE ONA levels at the handle acetheexam_IGCSE. Go ahead and enable all notifications, hit that bell icon popping up on your screen so you never miss our weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategies. All right, let's get back to it. You need to flawlessly extract relevant data and interpret relationships. Back in the study suite, Alex and Sam were actively drafting a model response, paragraph by paragraph on screen, and they hit a massive roadblock regarding paragraph linking. They extracted the data, but their paragraphs read like isolated bullet points. They were failing to interpret the relationships between the text and the tables. I used my picture-in-picture feature to pause their session and step in. I explained the cognitive strategy to get unstuck. You must use the data from the table to prove the text. Your conclusions must always be based on the specific evidence provided in that exact dataset, not just general accounting theory. Let's elevate our approach in Section 4, Critical Analysis and Evaluation, focusing heavily on those higher-order skills. It's a classic struggle highlighted by examiners. Why is this so hard? The answer lies in failing to identify hidden assumptions, limitations, and alternative interpretations. Let's look at the flawed section Alex and Sam wrote. They wrote, "The trial balance balanced, therefore the accounts are perfectly accurate." I had them rewrite this flawed section out loud. I told them an evaluative mindset questions the completeness of the data. They rewrote it, showcasing a flawless transition from a mediocre answer to a full-mark response. Their new answer read, "While the trial balance is arithmetically balanced, this is a limited tool for verifying complete accuracy, as it inherently fails to identify errors of omission or principle, meaning the final accounts may still hold significant hidden misstatements." Boom. That is an A-star evaluation. They didn't just take the numbers at face value, they evaluated the hidden limitations.
Now we are entering an immersive, interactive pause and practice visual workshop. I am addressing you, the viewer, directly right now. On your screen, you are seeing Visual Question 1, a complex text excerpt detailing 2 different methods a business uses to find trial balance errors. A 60-second visual countdown timer is starting right now. During this 60 seconds, your job is to mentally construct a comparative analysis. True comparative analysis requires identifying similarities and differences, using comparative connectives to support your conclusions with hard evidence. Don't just write one paragraph about method A and a separate one about method B. As the clock ticks down, think about words you can use like whereas, conversely, or similarly. You have to show the examiner exactly how these 2 approaches interact. Time is up. If you just summarize both methods independently, you scored 0 for evaluation. You must weave them together to unlock the top band.
Welcome to Scene 2 of our visual workshop, Spot the Flaw. On the screen is a poorly written student answer attempting to evaluate a trial balance scenario. Your task is to find the 3 massive errors based on the framework table in front of you. Let's dissect the correct paths together. I am systematically highlighting the screens now. Look at this first sentence. It merely identifies that a trial balance checks arithmetical accuracy. That is purely descriptive. Error number 1. Down here, they compare the trial balance's ability to catch a single entry error versus a compensating error. That's better, it's analytical, but they stop there. Error number 2. The third and final error, the most critical one, is the complete lack of an evaluative conclusion. To reach the top tier, you must provide justified recommendations. You have to tell the examiner how reliable the trial balance actually is for the business owners, based on your analysis.
Finally, Section 5, the climax of our playbook, the top 3 examiner warnings and how to actively avoid these traps.
These are the exact traps set by examiners, the top 3 ways students throw away marks year after year. Number 1, confusing cause and effect. This happens when candidates mix up the accounting error with the resulting symptom on the trial balance. Number 2, forgetting to check your format and presentation. Use your columns, use your headings, make it readable. But trap number 3 is the absolute destroyer of grades, providing generic answers that are not specific to the context.
Look at this examiner alert. The crucial point to take away from this entire explanation is that context is king. Perfectly link your knowledge to the specific scenario.
If the examination paper gives you a scenario about a struggling retail startup with inexperienced accounting staff, your evaluation of the trial balance limitations must explicitly reference those inexperienced staff members making specific types of errors. If you just copy and paste a memorized textbook definition of trial balance limitations without mentioning the specific business or context provided, the examiner will heavily penalize you. You are answering a question they didn't ask.
At the end of our digital study suite, Alex and Sam shared their personal breakthroughs. Alex realized that facts without context are useless, and Sam realized that arguments without a procedural framework fall apart under pressure. To synthesize this entire masterclass, I am giving you 3 core, memorable pillars to lock in right now. Pillar 1, the 3-step question scan. Highlight the command word, identify the core topic, and circle the specific business context. Pillar 2, the paragraph balance formula. Every analytical paragraph must contain 1 piece of case study evidence, 1 accounting theory link, and 1 evaluative consequence. And Pillar 3, the last 5 minutes review checklist. Spend your final minutes checking that you actually answered the specific command word, not the one you wish they asked. To remember all this, create a custom mnemonic using the first letters of our core terms to lock in the procedural framework. Having a mental trigger ensures that when exam panic sets in, you default to your strategic training.
So, the ultimate question is on the board. Will you fall into the generic answer trap, or will you secure every single method mark through structured, evidence-based evaluation? The knowledge, the strategies, and the examiner's playbook are now entirely in your hands. But knowing the strategy isn't enough. Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, relentless application. I need you to hit the subscribe button right now for Ace the Exam's IGC O and A levels at the handle acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell so you are fully equipped with our future exam hacks, and go down to the comments section right now and publicly declare your target grade. Lock it in. Then, take this exact framework, apply it to deconstruct your very next past paper, and watch your method marks absolutely soar. Keep evaluating, keep analyzing, and keep contextualizing. I will see you in the next masterclass.